Hello and welcome. On behalf of the DeKalb Chamber of Commerce, I would like to welcome you to the DeKalb Chamber Discuss DeKalb interview series. We are happy to be engaging with leaders and experts in our community to keep you up to date on issues, trends, and events that will add value to your business. I am Gabrielle Rogers, Correspondent Secretary for the National Council of Men and Women DeKalb section, past board member, past chair of the DeKalb Young Professionals, and current member of the Government Affairs Committee. I am pleased to have with us today State Representative Karla Drenner of District 85. So excited to have you today, Representative Drenner. And so I want to talk a little bit about your bio, and then we're going to have you introduce yourself. How does that sound?
That sounds great. I'm excited to be here.
Perfect. We're so excited to have you. Not the wonderful things you're doing in your district. So Karla Drenner was elected to Georgia House of Representatives in 2000, where she is in her 10th term, sitting in 5 legislative committees, including the Rules, Health and Human Services, Natural Resources and Environment, Energy, Utilities and Telecommunications, and Small Business Development Committees. Also, she serves as the chair of the DeKalb County House of Representatives Legislative Delegation. In addition to her duties in the General Assembly, Dr. Drenner is a graduate professor for Purdue University Global, where she teaches in public administration program. She has taught at several other higher education institutions, including DeVry University, where she taught both graduate and undergraduate courses. Again, please welcome a powerhouse in the state of Georgia, Representative Karla Drenner.
Gabrielle, thank you so much for having me today. What a delight it is to be here. I love living in DeKalb and supporting any DeKalb measures that I can lend a hand to. Specifically, I live in unincorporated DeKalb, right outside of Avondale Estates. I represent the city of Clarkston, a smidge of the city of Decatur, Avondale Estates, and then I go southeast. Like you said, I've been in the House since 2001. I sit on 5 committees. I've been the chair of the DeKalb House delegation since 2018, and prior to that, I was the vice chair for 4 years. So I'm very familiar with all issues related to our county. Over the pandemic, I served on the DeKalb County Task Force, which was appointed and chaired by Mr. CEO himself, Michael Thurman. One of the coolest part of being in the House and living in DeKalb is that I love the fact that we have so much diversity. 800,000 plus people, 12 cities, over 100 languages. It's just a great place to be. My neighbors are international. My children go to Coralwood, and it seems like that DeKalb County is where things happen.
Oh yes, Representative Drenner. One of the things that I love is diversity, and I kind of want you to talk about a little bit about talk about your neighbors. Let's talk a little bit about why did you decide to run for office in 2000, because it's such a different time then than it is now. But why did you decide to run?
It is different, but it's the same in so many respects. It's more diverse. When I first ran in 2000, I didn't realize I was brought up in a political home. I'm originally from Charleston, West Virginia, that thriving metropolis of 66,000 people. Right. I came to Georgia via a job. I moved from Charleston to California to Ohio to Missouri, and then landed in DeKalb, and have lived here for 26 years. My mom, I grew up with She ran as a state representative. Unfortunately, she didn't win. She focused most of her career at the city level and at the state level. And so it was just a kind of a natural fit for me to run for office. One of my PhDs is in public policy analysis and administration. I ran, I won, and I've loved it ever since. I felt like it was a calling from the universe. I still believe it's a calling from the universe, right? God says this is what you're supposed to do, and you were God's plan. So I say it's the same. It's the same in that there's still a lot of issues that we need to have our voices amplified. In DeKalb, it seems like frequently our opinions, because of our red blue status distinction in our state is greatly stifled, and I'm glad to lend my voice to the blue team and amplify what it is that we stand for, and that is equity, inclusion, diversity, etc.
Well, thank you so much for taking that calling and running for Representative Jenner, because it really shows your leadership. And you made history when you decided to run as well. So my next role is that you wear several different hats. And so I kind of want to talk to you about your assigned committees and what are your roles in your committees?
Sure, I'm happy to tell you about my committees. I love them all. Each one of them, when I came in, the Democrats were in power, and so my committee choice was honored. And those happen to be my passion, interest, energy and utilities and telecommunications. I've spent 20 years working on renewable energy issues, solar energy, diversifying our portfolios, health and human services, vaccines are front and center right now, right? Issues of health, natural resources, and the environment. I have previously, my background is in environmental management. I've been fortunate. I passed a bill this year, a childhood-led bill that deals with environmental justice concerns. Rules, of course, is the committee in which all bills go through before they get to the floor for debate. And that is usually dedicated to chairman. In 2008, I was fortunate enough to get that assignment and have loved participating in the Rules Committee. The last committee of particular interest to you and to the Chamber of Small Business Development. We have done a lot of work over the years to increase and incentivize small businesses within not only our county, but in the state as a whole. I'm not in the majority party, so I am a member of all of the committees. Previously, when Leader Abrams was around, we were, well, she's around now in a different capacity, I should say, and getting ready to be in charge of everything. So the structure that she put into place when she was the minority leader was a ranking member. So I was the ranking member on energy, utilities, and telecommunications.
Awesome. That is so awesome to hear. And one of the key points you said that you were here when your party had control. So you've been here for a very long time to see things change and things get passed. So kind of want to talk about right now your bills. So are you working on any specific bill of interest to you?
Well, of interest to the county right now and to your members is House Bill 1250, which was the redistricting of the Board of Commissioners. That was a very heated discussion between the House and the Senate. Eventually, we did pass House Bill 1250, which was a version of of the map, which was passed by the Board of Commissioners itself, that included the super districts. And then, of course, there's a Board of Education bill, which was Senate Bill 560 that redrew the district boundaries for the Board of Education members. Both of those were issues that I think we're on day 34 right now out of a 40-day session. So we worked on those bills intently since November. So that has taken a fair amount of effort on my part and others. Specifically, bills that I have been instrumental in was, I mentioned earlier, the childhood-led exposure bill. I was part of a study committee last summer. We met extensively to discuss how lead-based exposure hurts children. And as a result of that, we passed House Bill 1355, which was a first step in reducing exposure levels to lead. Another bill that I was happy to be a participant in was House Bill 1086. And this has to do with flu vaccines and patients that are in the hospital prior to being discharged, that they have offered an influenza vaccine. Seems like a small effort, but a very huge consequence, right? For people who have been, who don't want to get the flu.
Yeah, yes.
A bill that I have worked on some semblance, some variation over the last 15 years is, and I'll just tell you and the listeners that a lobbyist told me that all good ideas take at least 15 years. So you have to be in it to win it long term. This is one of those bills. It was a net metering bill, House Bill 1083. And what it would do would be remove the cap on monthly net metering and require utilities to compensate energy producers. So right now you can install solar panels onto your home and not really get a payback in your lifetime for trying to live off the grid. So that bill, unfortunately, is stuck in the Energy Committee. However, it did make great strides, meaning that it had 3 hearings. So that's a lot better than it's done in the past.
Well, that is such a just impressive, just the hard work, like you say, you have to be in it to win it. And just like a point of privilege, I attended some of those public comment meetings with the redistricting for the Board of Commissioners for DeKalb, and you and your community did an awesome job kind of filtering the comments and just kind of educating us a little bit about what it means. And here's the public comments. So I really commend you for that, for your grace during that time, because it was a lot. And so I do commend you for that.
Thank you.
Yes. You touched a little bit about your bills that were very important to you that you were working on. But as a high level, talk to us a little bit about the most pressing issue during this session that you see that is the most pressing issue.
You know, before I logged in, I was sitting here reflecting on what is the most pressing issues, right? Because at this late time in the session, it seems like every issue is pressing. The one issue that we are mandated to resolve every session is the budget. And the budget, of course, is big. It's a $30 billion budget. And this year we gave teachers some raises, we funded mental health, we gave some more money to Hope. We provided a new options waiver, which is slots for intellectual and developmental disabilities. So that's always a pressing issue for us to work our way through the appropriations process. You know, we had some very bad bills that passed that are pressing not to pass, right? Over in the Senate, we had a bill that would allow gun owners to carry. We had a bill that continues the onslaught of attacks on voters that would give GBI the right to initiate investigations, right? So that's over in the Senate right now. It passed by a strict partisan vote. We had a Don't Say Gay bill, which is still pending, right? The Florida bill that popped up over in the Senate. We have another bill that targets transgendered kids over in the Senate that's crossed over. We have a bill on abortion pills that is still pending. Tomorrow we will again roll back or create preemptions for the state that takes away power from county governments. I in particular have supported wholeheartedly the efforts that CEO Thurman initiated at the beginning of the COVID ready mask. I have applauded the school board's efforts on requiring kids to wear masks. Tomorrow, there's a mandate bill, that Senate Bill 345, that would remove the ability of any local government to require they're calling it a passport, that you would be mandated to show your vaccine card. There's Senate Bill 514, Unmask Georgia Students Act, that says that a school district can't make kids or teachers wear a mask. So there's a lot of issues that seem to be pressing, right? There's voter rights, there's social issues, there's public health issues that will continue until 12 o'clock sine die.
Wow, thank you so much for that amazing overview, Representative Drenner. I kind of want to talk a little bit about now economic development. I know small businesses is so important to you. And so how are you advancing economic development in your district? And how are you supporting the business community in your district?
Well, you know what, there was one resolution that passed this year that came through small business development. That was the lead sponsor just happened to be my favorite chairman of Energy and Utilities, and it creates a Georgia Commission on Sustainability and Economic Opportunity. So it kind of merges the environmental concerns with the economic opportunities. And what that bill does specifically is it creates a commission. It's a limited commission that will look at businesses with incentives and prioritize employee wellness, environmental business practices, transportation. And I think it's a really good way. I haven't seen a bill intersect economic development and environmental policy in our state like this. So I'm excited about that particular bill. Now, at the local level, as the chair of the House delegation and the 12 cities, I have worked on just about every tax exemption, every homestead exemption, every school issue that you can name that's happened in DeKalb County for the last 5 years. So there's lots of ways that we are working with the county as a state delegation to increase and enhance business opportunities within our county.
Wow. I mean, when I said earlier she is a powerhouse, I was not making it up. I really appreciate Representative Jenner, all the hard work she does as a woman here in the legislature. And so I have a few more questions for you on a lighter note. So we talked about your background. We talked about what you do as a legislator. I do have a question for you. What do you like to do for fun in your downtime?
I'm a Netflix person,
Okay.
so I watch a lot of Netflix.
Okay.
I have kids. I don't know if you know that I have twin toddlers that are 3. So there's not a lot. It's 7 o'clock comes pretty quickly at my house, 7 p.m. It's like, okay, let's go to bed. And then I can whip out my iPad and watch a few Netflix back series, whatever it is. I couldn't even tell you the names of them because it's just kind of mindless. I just kind of get lost.
Yeah.
The other thing I really like to do for fun, and I hope you won't laugh, is I love to paint by numbers.
Oh, awesome.
I'm a paint by numbers kind of person,
Yeah.
and maybe I strike you as a person who likes to paint outside the lines. I do. I frequently will change up the colors in the paint by number set. So I have lots of masterpieces at home that I've spent many hours creating.
That is awesome. And so you all heard it first, what Representative Turner loves to do for fun. So as we close, it has been a pleasure speaking to you today, Representative Jenner. I do want you to leave us with a call to action, some final words for the chamber for us to continue to advocate for small businesses and have those partnerships.
Okay, well, here's my call to action for the chamber, right? I have your uniquely DeKalb membership directory here. And as I look on page 6, it has your core, your mission, your core focus, and your priority goals. And let me just say this, that your public advocacy is important. So coming and meeting all of us, participating in the delegation meetings, participating in the Board of Education meetings, in the commission meetings, all of those meetings and getting to know all of us helps you. So we are here. We want to grow DeKalb. We want DeKalb to be the best, the brightest, and the best place to live. And Gabrielle, you're doing that. You're doing it.
We appreciate you so much, Representative Jenner. Please let us know how we can reach you through your website.
KarlaDrenner.com or
Okay.
KarlaLDrenner@gmail.com. I mean, yeah, I'm sorry, at gmail.com, right. KarlaDrenner.com, or my Gmail address is KarlaLDrenner@gmail.com. So please reach out to me, join my newsletter that I send out about what's going on down at the Capitol or events. Reach out even if you don't live in my district, and I can help you. That's what I'm here to do.
So thank you so much again, Representative Jenner. DeKalb residents, we hope you enjoyed this segment with Representative Jenner today. Please be on the lookout for the rest of our talk series, and you have a good afternoon.
Thank you very much, Gabrielle. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.